Hi everyone, got a scenery test today. This is going to be Norwich Airport, and it's this first one. It's just the basic bog standard one that comes in with the sim slash game, or game slash sim, or whichever one you want to call it. I'm sick and tired of the arguing. It's a simulator, but it's also a game, whichever one you want to use it as. Oh my Jesus. Anyway. This is where I used to fly from, and it's sort of modelled, but not really-ish. It's not very good, so let's go and have a look around. Trying to get it as close to 10 in the morning as I can with clear skies, just so we get a good comparison between the two of them. Now, when I was flying from here, all this was grass. There was one concrete pad over there which the air ambulance used to use, and nowadays it's just 4 or 5 helicopters, I believe. So maybe it's the air ambulance is, I think, maybe this side, but the whole area is just for helicopters now. That is not correct either. That's not the way that building actually is. That looks a bit big for what's actually there. But let's go over to the passenger area. So we're going to start from this area, and I'll do the comparison from this area, starting from here as well. So, I mean, it's reasonably accurate-ish. This is how the airport really is. It is quite small. The car park does indeed go straight into the airport terminal. The only difference is that this is a bit wider in reality, and you can get a taxi from the front and they can park up, so it's probably a bit wider than that is in this picture. I'm guessing this bit should be roadway because that looks like a car on it. So all this bit is fairly accurate-ish. It's not precisely the same, but it's, you know, it gives a good general feel of how the airport buildings are. This side as well, I mean, it's a nice representation, but it's not faithfully accurate. Over there should be an engine testing area with like a big bucket of wall that stops it from disturbing the people that live over that area. And the firefighting area, let's go and see if that's in there. So there's an aviation museum and the firefighters area where they do their practices. It doesn't look like it's on here. So this is the new bypass that's been built quite recently. It's been quite a while since I flew from here. The last time I flew was probably 2008, I think. So a good 15 years ago. And in those days, the other runway was open, which is now closed. So there used to be 2 runways. I'm not too sure why that fuel truck's over there. Maybe it's going to refuel the control tower. And then we're back over to where we started from, which is the what used to be the light aircraft area. Some very nice aircraft in those hangars, by the way, when I was there. Is it a Dove? I think it was an old Dove. There's a twin-engine 1950s, or an Andover maybe, I'm not sure which. There's a very old 50s twin-engine turboprop private aircraft with about 5 or 6 cockpit windows either side. Sorry, 5 or 6 passenger windows, and inside, oh, that was beautiful. It was all handmade and just wood all the way through. This amazing polished wood, just basically done up for someone to fly around and drink whiskey. It was absolutely amazing inside. It was like the poshest ever private aircraft you can imagine, but all wood. Cockpit was amazing because that was a nice mix of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and 2000s equipment. Some of it was still original, some of it had got updated, had got all the GPS in there and everything. God, I would have loved to have been able to buy that and fly that around the world, but unfortunately I don't have enough money, so, you know. And yeah, I mean, that is fairly accurate-ish. They do park the light aircraft out there. So let's go up and have a look down. So this is basically what we should be seeing. This is taken last year, so 9 months ago. Yeah, there are aircraft parts up there. That's the bucket I was talking about, which they use for engine testing. And that's not represented. This is the fire test area, but that's a fuselage on there. And the old museum, that's all been taken away now. You can see the aircraft over there on the side. The new bypass that was put in went straight through the middle of that, which is really annoying. We lost the Vulcan, sort of, and you can see it there now, but it used to stand proud over this side, I think, if I remember rightly. You could see it as you were coming into land. Beautiful thing. And one of the best things about Norwich is the runway is exactly east-west, so it's 09 and 27. Makes things a lot easier when you're doing stuff. It really does. And so it used to be 3 runways. It's an old bomber airfield from World War II. And the fighters used to go from another airfield just slightly over to the north of this. Which, as you can see, is now not an airfield anymore. You can see the old hardened areas that has been taken over by stuff. It's now an industrial park, I believe. These are nowhere near the right size. And they're joined up when they shouldn't be joined up. I think we used to fly from this one. Unfortunately, we can't get a good view from the ground, I don't think. But they are a bit bigger than they appear on there. They're all roughly the same size, so they should all be that sort of size. This is too small in reality. So moving back to the passenger area. It's a good representation of what's there. Obviously not totally accurate. You can see the roof's not the same as it should be. It's just got various bits on to make it look like it's a proper building. This once again is another hangar, sort of standard size hangar. And one of these areas is used for resprays, where they respray aircraft. I mean, they take commercial aircraft, 737s, A320s, and they respray them, so they are a bit bigger than they appear to be on here. So this is the area where they do the resprays. And as you can see, they've got them far too small for the actual purpose that they're used for. they've got it down as a general parking for aircraft. It's not at all. I mean, that is commercial aircraft park here because they get sprayed, stripped back and sprayed. This area is pretty accurate. That's the taxiway we used to use. It's changed names now. It used to be B and I think now it's A. And yeah, the little hardened areas, the pull-offs and the circles, they are actually there. So I mean, it's a reasonable representation of an airport, but it's not a reasonable representation of this airport. It's not very precise. I'd say it's, you know, maybe 60% accurate-ish. Helicopter pads and training areas for helicopter immersions and stuff. But it does the job. People can fly in and fly out and pretend they're going from Norwich. It's good. So now we'll take a look at the new one that we're trying out. So I've got 3D buildings on now, so hopefully you can see a bit of detail. So as you can see, there's a glass front with a little canopy over there. Perfectly modelled here. So this is the replacement airfield. All that weird nonsense on the roof's gone. And it is a pretty accurate representation of what the airport actually is looking like. You see we've got the black tarmac area and the concrete around. Back to tarmac over there. The perimeter is much better done. You can see the heights of the buildings now where that is a massive hangar. And you can even, oh, he's even painted the KLM on it. Wow, nice. The respray areas are much better represented. It's got fire engines in front of the firehouse, that's even better. There's a lot of cargo flies from here, that's all done as well. Yeah, so much better than it used to be. That's Bristol Aviation. Yeah, that's all redone, A and B. Nice. We're going to move on to the, hopefully he's done the bucket area. Oh yeah, buckets there, brilliant. Yeah, it's a much better representation of the test area. Yay! That's more like the real control tower rather than the one they had there, which is a very modern one. This is quaint old Norwich's one. Oh, that's much better. And you can clearly see that straight away that these are much more accurately modelled. They've got gaps between them, they're the right heights, and the doors were full width. Not too sure what that's doing now, that's a helicopter area, but whatever. That's also shouldn't be there, that should be a helicopter. There is a static aircraft file which I haven't used, well, directory. So it does write on his thing that if you use a static as well as the basic model, then it'll add the static aircraft correctly and put helicopters on the helicopter area. But these are all superb. That's how I remember our old hangar. Yeah, I mean 10 out of 10. That's just absolutely beautifully modelled. Wow, I'm going to really enjoy using this one, that's for sure. Okay, so that's Norwich Airport, and that's by Raptorr, with the 2 R's at the end. Raptorr111, so RAPTORR111. This one's from flightsim.to. It was only released in beginning of April this year, so it's only a month old, and it looks really amazing. I'm gonna be using this one constantly now. I'm flying from it a lot. There's also a Norwich, City of Norwich one, but that's 3 gig, and it's okay. But I mean the bog standard Norwich City one is pretty accurate. There's just a few bits and pieces missing, but it's well worth getting that as well. But this is just absolutely brilliant, and it is fully compatible with the Norwich City add-on. Yeah, can't wait to fly from it. That's going to be great. I'll also do a video of that. That's going to look beautiful when I get my 320 on there. When it's the KLM do flights from here daily, but it's an Embraer 190, I believe, not an A320. But until I get the Embraer, then I'm going to carry on using the A320. It just about takes off. Runway's a bit short, but it just does make it. So, EGSH, Norwich Airport by Raptorr111. 10 out of 10. Brilliant, mate. Well done. Superb for first effort. Really is.